host of the Gridiron.
Right. It's been obviously he's been a hot topic. So actually I saw, when the heck was it? It was Monday. The Bears wanted to interview him. Right now he's up to two head coach interview requests so far for Kafka. So far, right? Now, he might get more, but over the past however many, 3 years now, right? Keeps getting interview requests. So we'll have to wait and see. If anything happens there, and it just goes to show you, right? I mean, being on such a crappy team, he's kind of a little bit of a hot candidate there. Also goes to show you, also too, right, is that he was calling the plays when we went 9-7-1 and went to the playoffs, right? They got Daboll, and there was another thing that Mr. Mara was talking about with Daboll, as far as maybe giving up calling plays, but Daboll was calling plays this year, and obviously injuries and all the quarterback rotation and all of that didn't help much, but Kafka was calling the plays for the Giants, right, when they went 9-7-1 and they won a playoff game, right? So he's becoming a hot topic here. All right, so I got this here. Second team requests head coaching interview with the New York Giants offensive coordinator Mike Kafka. Could Kafka be headed to a new location? Now, accordingly, he still is under contract for next season. So, Mike Kafka wasn't good enough to call offensive plays for Brian Daboll's 3-14 Giants in 2024. Giant offensive coordinator, though, certainly seems to be good enough to continue drawing head coaching interest around the NFL. The Saints on Tuesday became the second team with the head coaching vacancy to request an interview with Kafka. The Chicago Bears made the same request on Monday. Nolans fired Dennis Allen during the season, and the Bears did the same with Matt Eberflus. This will mark 8 head coaching interviews for Kafka in 3 seasons since he joined Daboll's staff in 2022. Last offseason, he had 2 interviews with the Seahawks for their vacancy and 1 with the Titans. After the 2022 season, he interviewed for openings with the Panthers, the Texans, the Colts, and the Cardinals. Kafka's 37-year-old former NFL quarterback who came to the Giants after working for Andy Reid with the Kansas City Chiefs is a kind of bright young offensive-minded coach many teams seem to be seeking. So, we got the Bears here. Bears are interested in interviewing Mike Kafka to be their next head coach. NFL regular season is over. Thank God. Well, for the Giants anyway. Whoops. Which means the league will diverge along 2 paths, the playoffs and the offseason. For less fortunate teams like the Giants, the offseason begins with Black Monday, and the day when most coaches and executives get their pink slips and find themselves on the open market. The Giants decided to spare head coach Brian Daboll and general manager Joe Schoen on Monday, opting to give them at least 1 more season to right the ship and return New York to relevance. It doesn't mean that the Giants coaching staff will remain the same. Defensive coordinator Shane Bowen struggled to maximize the benefits of a strong pass rush, and Daboll brought up the idea of giving up play calling duties, presumably to whoever's manning the offensive coordinator spot. For the past 3 seasons, that's been Mike Kafka. On Monday, though, his long-term fate in New York was made less certain, not by the unit's struggles, but because of the promise of as a coach. According to Ian Rappaport, the Bears requested an interview with Kafka for their vacancy at head coach. Last season, the Seattle Seahawks did the same for the offensive coordinator gig, but the Giants blocked the request. With less job security and a year removed from calling plays, New York is less likely to reject the inquiry this time around for a lateral move. He cannot be blocked from interviewing for a promotion now. Kafka lost the right to call plays in 2024, but was compensated by an additional title, assistant head coach, before the season, boosting his resume, which already has a Super Bowl ring with the Kansas City Chiefs and NFL playing experience on it. Suggests that he'd be willing to take a promotion and Daboll would let him go. Despite New York's struggles offensively, Kafka has remained relatively untarnished. He was scoring plays for Daniel Jones' best season in 2022. And he didn't have, and let's not forget, Wan'Dale Robinson got injured in 2022, right, against the Lions. And then, of course, we didn't have Malik Neighbors, but they did have Saquon, right? And obviously, Kafka has Kansas City connections. Teams lust over every offseason and is well regarded as an offensive mind. Kafka is under contract for next season with New York, but the chance to coach 2024 number one pick Caleb Williams could be too much to pass up in the event the Bears extend an offer. The Giants will visit Chicago at some point next season. Aha, interesting. Ooh, that would be very interesting, right? But I mean, I'm sorry, I missed. Oh boy, I'm sorry. What we got? What's your opinion on the Giants quarterback situation? No. Yeah, see, a lot of it. I mean, with these quarterbacks coming out, I mean, I don't have time to sit down, unfortunately, and watch a lot of film and all that stuff on these guys coming out. I take other people's advice. So you listen to, these other gurus and all that stuff and everything. Some of them don't even have first round grades on some of these guys. So it's going to be very, very interesting. Giants take one of these guys at number 3. That could be a reach. That could be a huge, huge reach. But, a lot of it, a lot of stuff you don't know about. A lot of it's they sit down and talk to these guys. That's huge. They get to know the guys, right? They try to pick their brains and all that. That's huge. They go through their pro days. I'm not at the pro days and all that stuff and everything. So I can only look at film and listen to what other people got to say and everything. But like PFF, I go sometimes by what their grades are and everything, and they don't grade these guys very high. There's a lot of guys that are graded a lot higher than these guys. I mean, positional players. These guys are kind of there's none of these guys. Nobody's. It's like if you take Cam Ward, you're set for the next 15 years, right? If you take Shedeur Sanders, he's your man for the next 15 years. You're going to the Super. No, there's none of that. Jalen Milroe. I heard he's got a nice ceiling to him, but he might need some coaching. He might be something to think about, maybe one of the later rounds, right? The thing is also it's good. The problem is it's like it's free agency, then it's the draft, right? And the two teams in front of the Giants, the Browns and the Titans, both need quarterbacks. Now, if one of those teams was the Patriots, say the Patriots were 1, the Titans were 2, and the Giants were 3, the Giants could leap. If they fell in love with one of these guys, we get Cam Ward, we're good to go. Well, they could leapfrog Tennessee, right, and go to number 1. They have to dish out some draft picks, right? And they can get their guy, and they might be good to go. But the problem is that both these teams in front need a quarterback. Now I don't know if they're gonna. They might pass. They might pass on these quarterbacks, and the Giants might have both these quarterbacks fall in their lap, right? But you don't know exactly what the Giants think about these guys. Right? You need. You're picking number 3. You need a hit. You need. You swing and miss here, boy. You're just writing your own pink slip. You're saying bye-bye. But it'd be interesting to see. You don't know what the Giants are going to do, like in the offseason, because free agency's first. Do they go out and try to, because the Vikings have J.J. McCarthy, and they got McCarthy, they got some guy Daniel Jones, who is now on the active roster, right? They signed him to the active roster, and Sam Darnold. So they're not going to keep all those guys, right? So they're going to let probably one of them go. You got with the Steelers, you got Russell Wilson, you got Justin Fields. They're probably not going to keep both of those guys. Russell Wilson was with the Steelers this year, like on the veteran minimum, I think it was, because I think the Broncos were paying like his whole salary or something like that. So they can't keep both guys next year. So do the Giants go out that way and try to get somebody? Do they go after Darnold? Just saying, right? Did he bring him in as a bridge quarterback, or did they bring him in for sign him for a 4-year deal? I mean, or maybe he might be the quarterback going for, he's young enough. So it's going to be very, very interesting. But I mean, that happens first. So it'll be interesting to see what the Giants, do in the offseason as far as trying to get like a veteran bridge quarterback. Or as I said, if they sign Sam Darnold to a 4-year deal for whatever, 4 years, $160 million, well, he might be their quarterback on, right? He might be their quarterback going for the future. And then the Giants can concentrate on grabbing grabbing the best player available in each round of the draft. Maybe taking a quarterback, maybe in the 3rd or 4th round or something like that. But so it's going to be interesting because if they do sign Sam Darnold, right? I said it might be another video for another day going over all the quarterbacks out there. But they take somebody like him. I said he made himself some money this year. That's for sure. Sal Bronx. Hey, good. I'm almost sure they won't draft. Everything I hear from is like he just seems like he's a stretch. We're talking pick 3 in the draft. You got to be right about this. If you're not right, you're wrong. Bye bye. They can't. They got to. They really got to hit this one out of the park. And apparently, there are some good players there. Not quarterbacks, but there are some good players there who are worthy of maybe the number 3 overall pick. And quarterbacks are not one of them. I mean, each one of these guys got problems. They all got problems. There's no Andrew Luck. There's no Trevor Lawrence. There's no Peyton Manning in this draft. There's no John Elway. Right? You take John Elway, you got your quarterback. Andrew Luck. Remember him with the Colts? They couldn't protect him. He got beat up so badly. But he was that all these guys got issues. So it's going to be very interesting to see where these quarterbacks go. Do they go 1 and 2, or do they start sliding down the board? It's going to be interesting to see. So, as far as if they don't think these guys are worthy of a pick, top 3, obviously don't pick them. Take somebody else who can almost immediately help your team, because also that too, the Giants, they got to start improving, or Shane and Daboll ain't going to be around, right? So if they draft one of those defensive linemen, I think his name is Graham, or if they take Hunter, a cornerback, or there's the cornerback, I can't remember his name, from Michigan. Those are guys almost like maybe plug and play. They're going to help you right away, right? And I said, if you can take a quarterback, take somebody in the 2nd or 3rd round. I'd bring Tommy DeVito back because he knows the system. He would be cheap. And I said, we're going to be interested to see what they want to do in the offseason as far as, signing in the quarterback. I have to wait and see. But, I mean, every year, that's the exciting thing. There's always exciting things going on. I mean, last season, it was always, what's going on with Saquon, right? Well, we found out. So this year we don't have a quarterback. So what's going on with the quarterback? Every year there's always something. So this year it's what's going on with the quarterback, right? So it's going to be very, very interesting. So what do we got? A little over 2 months. I mean, that's the one nice thing about football. Really, it's like the 1 month. I can't remember what it's like, June to July. There's like a month, 5 weeks or something like that, where they're like everybody's gone. But I mean, you got the season goes until beginning of January, right? Then you got the playoffs, right? Then you got the Super Bowl at the beginning of February, right? Then you got the combine, right? Toward the I guess that's toward the end of February, I believe it is, right? The combine. Then you start talking the draft. But in between the combine and the draft, you got free agency. In the middle of March, you got free agency, right? And then toward the end of April, you got the draft. Then you got the mini camps and all this stuff and everything. So it's almost always something going on. It's like 1 month where there's like middle of June, middle of July, whatever. There's like nothing going on, but there's always something going on. And I mean, the Giants season ended, thank God, and all that stuff. But a little over 2 months, like 9 weeks or so, we got free agency. So there's always something going on. Gotta love it. All right, guys, been 1 hour and 25 minutes. Whoever spent any time listening to me live, thank you, thank you, thank you. Or if anybody's going to spend any time watching the replay, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. And as always, you guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.